Cross-country bikes are built for all-out speed, long distance pedalings, and maximum efficiency. In this video, we're going to run you through how you can set it up to ensure that when you're in the saddle all day, it's going to be as comfortable as possible. Cross-country bikes are really designed to be fast and comfortable. Now, there's going to be a compromise when you really want to set up to get the best of both worlds. But the first thing before we go into in depth is I'm going to have to get changed. Whoa, got my kit on now. And the first thing that I'm going to kick it off with is looking at the saddle height and adjusting the seat post. So I'm going to jump on the bike and get that set. Okay, so I'm on the bike, I've clipped in, and I can see that that seat post is just a little bit too low. I've got a lot of movement still in my heel, so I'm going to raise it up first things first. Without going too in depth about actually setting the saddle height, we've got a full video on that. You can see that I've got a slight bend in my knee. It's not fully locked out when I'm at the bottom of my stroke. So just test that by putting the cranks at 90 degrees right down at the bottom, putting your foot on them, and then just seeing if your knee locks out and if you've got any ability to extend it still. That feels pretty comfortable. Okay, so now it's going on to actually adjusting that saddle. I'm not going to go into how you do that. I've got it about pretty flat, I'm going to say right here. If you're riding downhill, then you're going to have it at a slight more angle backwards, so the back is actually dropped down and it's at a slight tilt. For cross country, you could actually have it a little bit more with the front, the nose of the saddle drop down just to allow you to get your weight over the front of the bike. But I'm going to keep it right there, and I've got my rail set perfectly. I've also got this carbon seat post. Just gives me a little bit more comfort, especially this being a hardtail. It doesn't have any rear suspension, so there's no damping on the rear, and carbon has a property within it that actually damps some of those sort of really low frequencies, just making it that little bit more comfortable on the longer rides. Okay, so with the seat post and the saddle height set, let's come on and have a look at the cockpit. The stem length, I'm not going to change that, or the bars, but the big adjustment that you can actually do is by changing the bar roll, and what I mean by that is actually rotating the bars backwards or forwards, just to get that perfect position. What I'm really looking for is to make sure that my wrists are actually in line with my elbows. I'm not wanting to have a sort of too much of a bend in my wrist. That's going to really build up fatigue, especially in the forearms, and that is how you can get arm pump. We can also look at adjusting the grips and the levers just to get all that perfectly set. So let's see how you do that. Okay, so I've just loosened these off, and actually what I'm going to do is roll them just a little bit further forward so I've got that correct bend in my wrist, and then tighten it back up. Top tip here is you've actually got some lines so you can mark on your stem once you've got that position set, or you can actually just use them to gauge how much you're adjusting. Okay, first of all, let's talk about the grips. These ones from Ergon have got a little bit of a taper to them. They're also suited to actually have your palm wrapped right around them, and they're going to give you a little bit of vibration damping. You can also rotate these so you can get the thickness at different angles, so you can really get that set up. And of course, if you've got bigger hands, you're probably going to want to go for a thicker grip. Smaller hands, you can go for a thinner one. But this all comes down to personal preference. Let's take a look at those levers, and they feel not too bad. Again, I'm just going to make sure that everything is in line. Almost want to be thinking about drawing a line right the way from my finger all the way through my wrist and onto the elbow to make sure that that can stay completely parallel. Once I've got that set up, then we're going to move on to the suspension. Okay, so we're starting to get there. We've got the saddle height set now. The cockpit is all adjusted and dialed in. There is, however, the suspension left to do. And the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the sag. Now that is done with this air chamber. We've got a full video on how to do this. That link will be in the description down below. And I've also got Rebound and a Terralogic, which is just a sort of a pro pedal platform where I can really adjust the bike to make sure that it performs the best it possibly can over those small bumps, and also when you're pedaling the bike so you're not getting too much bob. So let's set those two up. Okay, so with these two adjustments, I've got 15 clicks of Rebound to play with and 10 on the Terralogic. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them bang on in the middle to start with, go out onto the trail and test it just to see. So I'm going to wind this off and starting all the way from it on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so that should be set. And then I'm just going to take some of this off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's going to give me my base setting, which you can adjust the bike from and really just dial into whatever terrain I'm riding. Okay, so there we go. Some top tips all about how to set up your cross-country bike. I have missed two things out, and they are your tire pressure and also setting up your clipless pedals. If you click right here, you're going to get to subscribe to GMBN and you'll never miss a video again. Click just up there for the clipless pedals and click down there for how to set up your tire pressures. Don't forget to share this video, leave your comments down below, and of course give it a thumb up like. There's one thing left to do, and I'm going for a ride.